Nice to have you with us. Ready to roll for the final pick spot of 2024. We've got two tournaments to break down today. Number one is the Mauritius African Open, which is the final leg of the DP World Tour's opening swing for their 2025 season. After this week, you won't see another Euro Tour stroke play event until January 10th at the Hero Dubai Desert Classic. Today for the Mauritius, I'll do two matchups, one pick to place and one outright for the action there at Mont Chaussee Le Golf. Now, the Mauritius Open is a field that is comprised mostly of the middle to lower class of the DP World Tour. The stars of the DP World Tour have started their holiday break, and now you really have the lower level, the new coming graduates of the Challenger Tour. Really, this is a field of the lower level of the DP World Tour teeing it up in Africa this week to try to elevate their status on the European circuit heading into 2025. Anton Rosner opened as the tournament favorite at plus 850. He won the tournament 2 years ago, the last time it was played at this course. You have Angel Iora teeing it up this week. We'll talk about Iora after he had the close call last week at the Alfred Dunhill, where he came up one short of a playoff. South African vet Sean Norris was the eventual champion there at Leopard Creek last week. You've got Christo Lamprecht in the field this week in Africa. He won the amateur championship a few years back. You've got Ding Wenyi giving it a go. He's a promising rookie out of China who we'll talk about today. He won the Asian Pacific Amateur, which gets you into the Masters, and he played his college golf at Arizona State. And then Ding turned pro, the very next event after the Asian Pacific Amateur, and he's played extremely well over his first six starts. And listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You have a brutal field in Africa this week from the perspective of Barney at the bar. Barney does not have a clue who is teeing it up on the DP World Tour this week, but we're going to get you squared away there with two matchups, one pick to place and one outright for the Mauritius here in just a moment. And then number two for today, we'll do the PNC Family Championship. I'll give you one outright for that tournament where you have iconic parent-child duos facing off at the Ritz-Carlton Golf Club in Orlando, Florida. You've got Cat and Cub and Tiger and Charlie Woods. They'll tee it up at the PNC for the fifth time. Freddie Couples and Trevor Immelman are set to make their PNC championship debut. Couples will play with his 16-year-old stepson, Hunter, and Immelman will play alongside his 18-year-old son, Jacob, who is committed to play at Clemson. In fact, I believe he's already there. I think he just completed his fall season. You also have Nelly Korda teeing it up once again in this tournament alongside her dad and former tennis superstar Peter Korda. You have Annika Sorenstam and her son Will, who are teeing it up for the second time. They were an entertaining duo last year. I think Annika and Will get the job done in this tournament in many years to come. Probably not this year, but in the future, looking into that crystal ball, I think Will McGee, that's Annika's son's name, I think he's going to be an incredible player one day. The only disappointing aspect to the PNC this year is that Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth are not playing. JT's played a few years in a row alongside his dad, Mike, and Jordan played with his dad in this tournament last year. Those were great additions to this tournament. But JT is probably spending some time with the family as he's a new dad, and Spieth is still recovering from a wrist surgery, and we'll see Spieth again in the new year there at the Sony, where he will make his 2025 debut, but still recovering from that wrist surgery that he went through after the spring season. So we'll see those guys again at the PNC here next year, and we'll get to an outright for the PNC. Let's start with the Mauritius Open here and these first two matchups. Matchup number one is going to be Ding Wenyi over Gavin Green at minus 140 on FanDuel. I really think Ding is very comparable to Ludwig Oberg in many ways. At just 20 years old, Ding has the well-rounded game that Oberg does, and he's having immediate success right out of the gate of turning professional, a lot like Oberg did a few years ago. And since Ding turned pro, he won the Asian Pacific Amateur in October and then turned pro right after that. Since then, he's made 6 starts at the pro level and has 3 top 25 finishes, including a tied 5th finish at the Aussie Open. And he's coming into this week off a 23rd place finish at the Dunhill last week. And I haven't taken Ding once this fall. I've just been monitoring his progress, and really, he's only had one really bad week, which was at the Aussie PGA in late November. And I didn't take him last week at all because he had some trouble with the irons at the Nedbank 2 weeks ago. But it looks like he got that taken care of last week at Leopard Creek. I think Ding ends 2025 with at least a top 25 finish, while Gavin Green comes in here off a 47th place finish at the Dunhill, and Green has lost strokes to the field with his approach in 3 consecutive events. Green has never had any success at this golf tournament, missed the cut in his only start at the Mauritius back in 2018. So I don't even think this will be close. This is, probably a matchup that will be done on Friday when Green is packing his suitcase and Ding is in contention. So matchup number 1 is going to be Ding Wenyi over Gavin Green at -140 on FanDuel. Matchup number 2 is going to be John Perry over Gavin Green at -145 on Bovada. And we're sticking with the fade here as far as fading Gavin Green. John Perry, he's a 38-year-old Englishman, really a veteran on the European circuits. He's won once on the DP World Tour, which came back in 2010. He's won 3 times on the Challenge Tour. 2 of those came this year. He had to go back to the Challenge Tour for a few years, and he's really John Perry's really come along in 2024, won twice on the Challenge Tour this year, including the Italian Challenge Open there in September. And you look at his recent play, kind of like Angel Iora, who we're going to talk about here in a second. John Perry played extremely well at the end of the Challenge Tour season. You look at how he finished the year. He played a couple European Tour events after he won the Italian Open on the Challenge Tour. He finished 24th at the Open de España. He finished 9th at the Rolex Challenge Tour Grand Finale. He finished 8th at the Aussie PGA, and then he finished tied 2nd last week at the Alfred Dunhill. So this is a guy that's playing extremely well. Another John Perry, another guy I expect to be in contention this week while Gavin Green's packing his bags Friday night. So matchup number 2 is going to be John Perry over Gavin Green at -145 on Bovada. Only one pick to place for you for the Mauritius. It's going to be Andrea Pavan to top 20 at +190 on Bet365. Andrea Pavan, another, he's a 35-year-old veteran who has won twice in his career on the DP World Tour. His last one coming at the 2019 BMW International. But Pavan has struggled a lot for the better part of 2024. He had a couple top 5s in the middle of the season at the KLM and the Italian Open. But other than that, Andrea Pavan did not do really much of anything this year, until I would say up until last week. He finished 24th at the Dunhill, and Pavan played very well at the Dunhill, other than a 76 in the 3rd round. And that kind of got me looking back at Pavan's history at this tournament and playing in Africa. He's never played the Mauritius at Mont Chaussee, but he has 2 top 20s in 3 starts at this tournament when it's been played at other courses. I really like his number from last week where, he picked up strokes across the board at Leopard Creek. My only pick to place this week is going to be Andrea Pavan to top 20 at +190 on Bet365. Let's get to our one outright for the Mauritius. That will be Angel Iora at 18-1 on Bet Online. And like Ding, Angel Iora is another 20-year-old wasting no time getting into contention on the DP World Tour. I would compare Angel Iora's game to Colin Morikawa's, but I think Iora possesses a little bit better of a short game, in my opinion. But Iora and Morikawa have very similar golf moves. Shut face at the top, then solid rotation through the golf ball to create that cash money pull cut. But, take a look what Iora has done over the last several months. Forget his golf swing, forget the prettiness of his golf move. Just take a look at his results over the last several months. He finished runner-up in the last two Challenge Tour events of the season at the end of October. Iora then got his DP World Tour card right after that, and he's top 10'd it in two of his first three starts on the European Tour. That first start was the Aussie PGA Championship, which was shortened to 3 rounds. Had it been 4 rounds, and Iora would have made a case on Sunday. He went 73, 67, 64 to finish 6th. Had there been a 4th round at Royal Queensland, and Angel Iora might already be a winner on the DP World Tour. He finished 23rd at the Australian Open the next week after the Aussie PGA. And then last week at the Dunhill, Iora had another golden opportunity to get his first win at Leopard Creek. He was standing in the fairway on the par 5 18th in the final round. A birdie would have put him in a playoff with Sean Norris. Iora ended up going for the green in 2. Guy has massive chops. Ended up going for the green in 2 and just rinsed it in the water and ended up coming short by 1 shot to Norris. Iora's 4 rounds last week were 71, 70, 65, 71. Very solid golf from him last week. So basically in his last 5 starts, he's had a great opportunity to win 4 of those 5. He came in second at the Hangzhou Open. He came second at the Challenger Tour Grand Finale. He finished 6th at the shortened Aussie PGA, 23rd at the Aussie Open. That was the one that he really didn't have a chance to win. And then tied 5th last week at the Dunhill where he had a chance on the 72nd hole. So you can color me obsessed with the big-time future of Angel Iora. This guy, absolute baller, and is 100% a future multi-time major champion when you look into the crystal ball. My outright for the Mauritius Open will be Angel Iora at 18-1 to win on Bet Online. We now move to the PNC Championship, and listen, it would be very easy to sit here and take Tiger and Charlie, but the fact is the 2 best players on paper have typically not won this tournament. You take a look at last year, for example. Bernard Langer and his son Jason won, and Jason is an investment banker in New York. Doesn't even play golf. Look at 2022, Vijay Singh and his son Koss won, and Koss has never played on the professional level. Now, the 2 fan favorites this week are, without a doubt, Tiger and Charlie, and then John Daly and John Daly Jr. The Woods opened at plus 650 on Bet Online, and the Dalys opened at 4-1 on Bet Online and are the tournament favorites. Now, I'm out on both the Woods and the Dalys, and it's not because of Charlie's ability or John Jr.'s ability on the golf course. I'm out on these 2 teams because of the elder player. For Team Woods, I was shocked that Tiger decided to play this week. I know they're in carts, but Tiger just got done telling us 2 weeks ago at the Hero that he just had his 7th back operation since 2004, and that this year has been a living hell as far as his back and leg is concerned. So I hate to put anything past the big cat, but I'm out on Team Woods this week. And then number 2 for Team Daly, Big John's had a super rough year on the Champions Tour. He's only had 1 finish better than 56th in 16 total events. And John Jr. is an excellent player. He's leading the team over at the University of Arkansas right now. And Charlie Woods is trending along very nicely in junior golf. But neither of them will be able to carry their dads to a win this week. So I'm out on Team Woods and Team Daly. I'll tell you a couple other teams I was looking at here. I was looking at Steve and Izzy Stricker at 20-1 on Bet Online. Steve had a great year on the Champions Tour with 12 top 10 finishes. And Izzy's a great player herself. She's a freshman on the Wisconsin women's golf team. This should be a team that contends, but looking at Izzy's fall golf scores, she struggled a bit on the course in her first semester as a Wisconsin Badger. Obviously, great putting genes run through the family. As Steve is one of the best to ever do it on the greens. Just ask Tiger. He'll tell you the same thing. But I just don't see them going low enough to win between the two of them. So I'm out on the Strickers this week. Number 2, I was looking at Trevor Immelman and his son Jacob at 40-1 on Bet Online. Jacob's obviously playing his college golf at Clemson. Great player. I don't think he's played much through one semester at Clemson. Couldn't find any scores there. But the bigger problem here is I'm not sure when the last time Trevor swung a club was. He is now consumed with the color commentating chair. He does a phenomenal job with CBS Golf alongside the great Jim Nantz. But we haven't really seen Trevor. He won the 2008 Masters. We haven't really seen him play in a very long time. I can't tell you the last time he played on the PGA Tour was, and he doesn't play the Champions Tour. So, once again, I don't think his son Jacob has the type of firepower to lead the way. And number 3, I took a look at Team Korda at 28-1 on Bet Online. Nelly's coming off her best professional season where she won the Chevron Championship along with 6 other titles and was named LPGA Rookie of the Year. And her dad, Peter, who has played with her in this for many years now, Peter continues to get better on the golf course every year. He was a world-class major winning tennis player in the 90s. And he has gotten better with his golf game year to year. Peter is no hack on the golf course. But as far as making enough putts to win this event, once again, the Ritz-Carlton there in Orlando, easy golf course. I'm not so sure Peter can assist Nelly well enough to get the job done. So I'm out on the quarters this week. My outright winner for the PNC Championship is going to be Team Kuchar at plus 650. Matt is playing alongside his son, Cameron Kuchar, who is probably the most impressive junior golfer in this field. He is a dual sport high school athlete, plays baseball and golf, which I love. Probably my 2 favorite sports right there. But it's not just the fact that Cameron plays, but he's got the real results to show for it. You look at the 3 AJGAs he's played in this past summer. He had 2 top 5s and a 23rd place finish and 3 starts at the AJGA level. Pretty solid. And then you look at his dad, Matt, and I don't think anyone in this field played more on the PGA Tour as much as Matt Kuchar did this year. He played every spring event and every fall event. Heck, he even played the Grant Thornton last week. He played with Megan Kang, and the 2 of them shot 64 in the first round and 62 in the final round. So he's coming off an event with a very similar format, Matt Kuchar is. Kuchar still has a ton of game left. You look at his play since July, finished 3rd at the 3M Open, tied for 12th at the Wyndham, 13th at the Procore, and 14th at the Shriners. No one else in this field has played on the PGA Tour this year, much less had that kind of success. So this is a no-brainer for me. Matt and Cam shot an opening round 57 last year in this tournament. They fell off late in a disappointing loss. Cam's come a long way since then. They're going to make up for that defeat this week. I don't even think it's going to be close. My outright winner for the PNC Championship will be Team Kuchar at plus 650 over on Bet Online. And what a biblical year here on the Golf Preview Podcast. We finished this season up 89.65 units, and we are up 220.9 units through 3 years of doing this golf podcast here on Pregames Network. I'm the best in the golf business, plain and simple. We'll see you back here in 2025 for another winning year. Happy holidays, everyone.